Shalom. In this week's Sedra Beshalach, we read of the well-known episode of the splitting of the sea. We read that God said to Moshe, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, and let the waters return upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen." Moshe stretched out his hand over the sea, and toward the morning the sea returned to its strength, as the Egyptians were fleeing towards it, and God stirred the Egyptians into the sea. The waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen, and the entire force of Pharaoh coming after them into the sea. Not even one of them survived. The children of Israel went on to dry land in the midst of the sea, and the water was to them like a wall from the right and from the left. On the day that the Lord saved Israel from the hands of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dying on the shore. In his commentary to this episode of the sea, Rashi explained that the Psukim described three different punishments that the Egyptians suffered when the sea came crashing down on them. The Egyptians died in a manner that reflected their sins. The least wicked sank like lead. The next level sank like stone, quick but not as quick as lead. And the worst sank like straw, slowly and painfully. Their wickedness was determined by how harsh they treated the Jews when the Egyptians were slave masters. Our sages are quoted as in Pirkei Avos as having said that there were 10 miracles that were performed for our forefathers in Egypt, and another 10 at the sea. According to Rav Bartanura, the 10 miracles performed for the Jews at the sea were that 1, the waters split; 2, they shaped like a tent; 3, when the Jews entered, the floor of the sea became completely dry. The 4th miracle is that the floor of the sea became muddy when the Egyptians chased after them. The 5th miracle is that the frozen water on the floor was not like a layer of ice, but like small tiles to make the walking easy. The 6th miracle is that the frozen water walls were hard as rock, and the Egyptians injured their heads upon them. The 7th miracle is that the walls of the water created 12 corridors, one for each tribe to pass through. The 8th was that the walls of water were like transparent glass, so that all the tribes would see the others while they would walk through and not be scared that they alone had survived. The 9th was that thanks to the light from the pillar of fire, there was sweet drinking water available for all the Jews. And the last miracle is that the unused sweet water froze so that the Egyptians couldn't drink it. What was the purpose of these miracles at the sea? They were designed to show the Jewish people that Hashem was not only going to save them, but take care of them as well in comfort. Unlike other moments of salvation, the splitting of the sea became a moment of joy for the Jewish people because it showed them just how much God was concerned for them. It is interesting that the Chavetz Chaim, in his work titled the Mishnah Berurah, wrote that one should recite the praise said at the sea, Az Yashir, every day in a joyful manner. The person should imagine that he crossed the sea that very day. One who recites it with joy will receive forgiveness for his sins, the Chavetz Chaim wrote. A person who recites the praise and remembers the splitting of the sea isn't remembering a miracle, but rather remembering God's concern for the Jewish people, something that we should all keep in mind. Shabbat Shalom.